I've got a customer that's struggling with foggy plastic headlights like everybody is. And you can see the UV rays have really eaten it up down to about here, and then it's clear down there. Well, I've done my research, and to date, it appears the best headlight restoration kit for the money is the Cerakote. So I'm going to try that today. And here's a before shot of the right headlight and the driver's side headlight. Now this was ordered off of Amazon for a little less than $20. Lifetime guarantee, reflects the UV rays, guaranteed to restore your headlights to like new condition and last as long as you own your vehicle, or we will simply refund your purchase. How about that? That's quite a claim. There's no tools required. Everything's in here. You get an applicator with some sanding pads. The first thing you do is remove the oxidation, one for each headlight. And they give you 3 of them, 4 of them actually, to get as much oxidation off as you can. And then you do the sanding, and there's 2,000 and 3,000 grit sandpaper. And then you get 2 application wipes, one for each side. I'll show you how I'm going to do it. And not only am I going to do this, but I'm going to follow this and show you what it looks like in a year from now. First thing I'm going to do to make this easier is pop the hood up. It's one less surface that I have to deal with. Next, I'm going to tape off the painted surfaces, and this is mainly for when I do the sanding so that you don't scratch the paint. I washed my headlights before I did this, so there's nothing on here. They're good and clean. The next step is to put these gloves on. They give you 2 sets of gloves. And step 1, take out one of the oxidation wipes. Just tear that open, pull the wipe out, and you're supposed to rub this in a circular motion. And you don't want to get this on your paint. And you can see the yellow oxidation coming off of there. And they give you a whole bunch of these wipes. So they want you to go through all of them until it's not yellow anymore. And for some of you, it might just take 1 wipe. For me, it's going to take more than that. Still getting the yellow off. They give you 4 wipes for this, 4 for each side. So I'll use those 4 up, and if there's still a little yellow left after the 4th one, that's all right. The sanding will get the rest. These headlights have ridges in them, and you want to work around and get all those nooks and crannies. All right, and we'll go over to the other headlight. And if any of this gets on your paint, you want to wipe it off immediately. And now that that's done, you want to rinse each headlight. And discard those gloves. And now we'll move on to step 2, and that's the sanding. And we're going to start with the 2,000 grit first. Oh, there you go, step 2. There's the 2,000 grit. That's a little grittier sandpaper. And then we're going to go to 3,000. That's finer. And there's 1 for each side. And it's a Velcro. You just stick that on like that. And I've got some water here. And I'm going to dip the sandpaper in that. And I'm going to keep the sandpaper wet as I'm working through this. And keep the headlight wet as I'm working through this. You can use a little spray bottle or your hose. And on this, you want to go side to side. And wet sanding really helps to take that oxidation off. And these headlights have a lot of character to them over here. And there's places in here I'm not going to be able to get with the sandpaper, so I'm going to pull it off after I do this and get those hard to get places. But you don't want to go in a circular motion on this, just straight back and forth. Now, I've seen scratchy lines in here, but they're dissipating as I'm sanding this. So I'm getting through the oxidation. And depending upon what kind of condition your headlights are in will determine if you got to do more or less sanding. But I don't see any lines hardly anymore. So I'm just about done in that area. And how hard you press is also going to be determined by how bad your oxidation is. And you don't want to do it all with the 2000 grit. That's just to get the bad parts out. The other thing is, if you have spider webbing or cracking in your headlight, you don't want to sand through that. That's a permanent problem that this is not going to address. Or if you have something on the inside of your lens, of course, this isn't going to reach that. That's about all I can do. So I'll pull this sandpaper off and do the rest by hand. And I'm seeing a milky substance come off of there. That's the oxidation. That's what you want to get off. I don't know if you can see, that's kind of milky. You want to get through that milkiness. Looking pretty clear. And we still have the 3000 grit to go with. But I think that's about it for the 2000 on this. And it's going to fog back up because of the sanding we did. I don't know if you can see how milky that is. You see the milkiness there? That's the oxidation. That's what we're getting off. Doesn't have to be perfectly clear, but you want to get it. You want to get most of that milkiness off with this 2000. And then the 3000 is just to take the scratches out that you put in. And that's why you don't want to go in a circular motion, because it makes it harder to coat then and not show scratches. If you just go in one direction, you're good. Back and forth. And you're not trying to take all the clear coat off of the plastic. That's what protects that. We're just trying to get through the part that got oxidized. That's pretty clear. Now the hard to get places. Now we can go to the 3000 grit. And I can almost see no scratching to my naked eye, just barely. That's about all we can get with that on. And over to the other side. And you can see as this is drying off how it's all cloudy. If it's not cloudy in a spot, you can see where you missed. It's still a little wet down here, but looks like I got pretty much everything on that first coat. And we're going to check both headlights after we do the 3000 to make sure that everything's covered. I don't know if you can see the scratches in there from the 2000. A lot of those will come out with the 3000. All right, we'll let that dry and make sure we covered everything, and then we can pull the tape off. And now it's time to inspect the headlight, and if you see any shiny areas, that means you missed it with the sanding. So you want to check it over real close. That's just water dripping there, but I see a line right here and a line right here, which are real hard to get at. I need to sand those because I missed them, but I got the tops. Then rinse it off good. And now we can pull the tape off and rinse it one more time. And now that's got to dry real good. You can dry it off with a microfiber cloth. You can blow it with a blower. Or if you don't have either one of those, you can let it air dry, but make sure that it is completely dry. Also, slamming your hood helps push some water out that's stuck behind. But you want to be sure that it's dry. And you want to make sure that you get all the water off, because otherwise it's going to dilute the ceramic coat and you will not get a good job. Now I'm going to pull it in the garage to apply the ceramic coat. And the reason is you only get one shot at that. You don't want it in the sun. You don't want any moisture getting to it. You don't want any debris blowing on it if it's a windy day. So we'll move cars around, pull it in, and then apply it. Here we go with the final step. You want to put gloves back on for this. Get one shot at it. The best temperature to do this in is between 60 and 75 degrees. Take one of the wipes. Now this is step 3. This is the ceramic coating. Before I start, you want to go side to side and overlap 50% as you're going down. Start at the top, work your way to the bottom, and you only do one coat. Don't go over it more than once, you'll mess it up. Of course, you can touch up a little spot you can't get at, but one coat, don't do two. So I'm going to start right up at the top here. I'm going to do the edge right here. Overlapping 50%. And you don't want to put this on your paint. A little tricky back in there. I'm going to do this whole area. Alright, now 50% overlap. One coat. That's it. Unless you see a spot you missed or something. That's it. You can work with it a little bit in spots while it's still wet. But I'm done. Now we'll go over the other side. That looks pretty slick. Yeehaw! Here's our second one. I'm going to do just the edge because I won't be able to swipe to it. While it's still wet, I can blend it in. Alright. And actually these tough spots here, I'm going to hit those. Now I'll go over the whole thing. 50% overlap, 50% overlap. I think that's it. But I can see why they only want you to do one coat, because if you go over it when it's starting to dry just a little bit, you're going to get a cloudy spot. So don't touch it again after that. Now I've got to let it set up for 1 hour. It'll dry 1 hour. Keep it out of any moisture around. I'm keeping it out of the sun. We'll see how it turns out. Well, these headlights turned out beautiful, just like new. And I talked to the owner. I detailed his whole car for him. He said if it's nice enough, I might take it, trade it in, get a new car. So I told you in the beginning, I'll follow this through in the next year and update it, which I will. Maybe it was just joking, but if not, it might not be available. I hope this video was a help to you. If it was, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing, and I look forward to helping you with other projects online. And it's smooth as silk.